Hey guys, Marzingen here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. And so the release of the free-to-play AGL Bardock with his awakening, finally awakening to an LR from the TUR that we've had for a little while, has certainly caused some ripples in the community. I guess we could put it that way. It's interesting because his details came out when the data download dropped and people saw his details on paper. A lot of people immediately, as often happens when details come out on paper for these new units, immediately started like downplaying him, saying that he didn't seem very good. Obviously sometimes with some of these things, especially with the way Dokkan words some passives, certain abilities are not necessarily as clear as when we then test them out in game. Like one of the big ones for this Bardock was him getting the extra buffs if there's a transformation boost or wicked bloodline enemy. The big one being, of course, the fact that he gets 30% damage reduction. But that ability, there's no way to know from just reading it as part of his passive when the details first come out. But once that activates, it stays activated. So, for example, in Festival of Battles or any other event, really, as long as he fights a transformation boost or wicked bloodline ally enemy at some point, that part of his passive then stays active for the rest of the battle. So if we, for example, if we get like a future red zone or blue zone of like Universe Survival Saga, for example, and at some point you fight like Angel Freezer, and then for the rest of the event you fight other characters, Bardock would still have that damage reduction, which is something that, you know, we couldn't necessarily tell when you just see his details on the page, right? So he was a little bit underrated at first, then he came out. I did the initial showcase like the day he came out, thought he looked pretty good, and then the tide started to turn in the opposite direction, and now people are going crazy with some of these takes, right? So I made a post, we're going to go over that here in a moment, but these are some of the examples, right? So someone made a tweet here, Bardock is very easily better than the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the anniversary, which, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. Obviously, he's a support unit, and in really long events, he can stack up to having really high defense. But physical Gohan is really, really good. I feel like he's underrated, to be honest. I mentioned this in the video that I made the other day where we went over the thread of someone like complaining about the anniversary, and they were saying that this, you know, Gohan wasn't good enough. I think he's probably underrated, and yeah, this is kind of the point here, right? First he was underrated, now he's already overrated. Like, he's gone from people saying that he was terrible when we just saw his details to now we're getting takes like that. Now obviously I assume like takes like this are probably just bait. Bardock is better than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. I mean, in a long event where you can stack him for like 50 turns, so obviously we're just talking about Festival Battles, then yes, because Gotenks isn't really great in that event. But like, Gotenks was out here tanking supers in like slot 1 on turn 1 that Bardock absolutely cannot, right? So I guess it's one of those things that they have, I guess they have their uses in different events, but just straight up saying that this guy's better than Gotenks, because bear in mind, when Gotenks released, people were saying that he was like top 3 unit in the game, and he's only been out for what, like 3 months at this point, and we're saying that Bardock is better than him. I'm not too sure about that. For Festival of Battles, sure, but overall, I don't know about that. And then, yeah, we've got takes like he's in the top 10 LR discussions, by the way. And then one of the things that we said here, right, so top 10 LRs, this is the kind of thing I saw. Like, there's a whole showed, like, Truth's most recent top 10 LRs posted at the beginning of this month. And this is the thing, right? For example, every LR here is better than him, right? This current list of top 10 LRs. And again, people underrating physical Gohan. Like, if I looked at all of these 10 here, if it was down to me, like, do I think he's better than any of these guys? I would probably say no, but again, it's like with an asterisk, right? Except in Festival of Battles. And then realistically, you could argue that he's better than every single one of these guys who don't stack. So basically, everyone on the S+ tier apart from Super Saiyan 4 Goku. For Festival of Battles only, right? Which is kind of the point, right? Certain units are better in certain events. But as you can see, the community has certainly had differing responses to this Bardock. So I made a tweet yesterday, a lot of discussion about Bardock, some calling him the best free-to-play unit, some are top 10 LR, others calling him mid. What are your thoughts? And I thought we would just go through the replies here and see what you guys think. So I did make this tweet yesterday. Hopefully you guys got to see it and leave your comments on it. If you didn't get to it in time before I made the video, obviously do let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts on the AGL Bardock. And of course, even if you did comment, if your thoughts have changed at all or you had something else you wanted to add, let us know down below. So got my boy Holden says, I think he's the best free to play, but not much more than that. Maybe top 15 LR. Not unit overall. I could maybe see. Seems like he's okay in non-festival of battles content, but he does very well in said fight. Yeah, he's really good in the festival of battles event. I've tried him out now in a couple of like red zone stages and stuff, and he can be very good. Obviously, if you're not getting the boost, if there's no Wicked Bloodline or Transformation boost enemy, then he is considerably worse for those events, which is understandable. He's also not on a lot of like 200% leads and doesn't have any 220 leads. So that is a factor as well. Like if you're running him on some of the best superclass teams where he'll be supporting those characters, he's only getting a 170 lead. And then he's obviously not going to look as good in these events where bosses, by the time you get even to the second or third phase, are hitting for like over 2 million, right? He doesn't have a lot of time to stack up. But Proton, on paper, he certainly looks like the best free-to-play LR. In practice, I'm stuck doing the World Tournament. Yeah, that's fair. I did make this post during the World Tournament. I mean, he probably is the best free-to-play unit. Demon King Piccolo is obviously very good as well, but is kind of restricted, right? He has to be on an extreme team or a demonic power team, which is a shame considering we just got the new Kid Goku and DB Saga could use some of those extra buffs. But AC, he's definitely not mid. He's a post-10th anniversary unit. I'd say he's borderline top 10. I also haven't really thought about specific top 10 since part 2 of the anniversary. People just need to stop always making comparisons, sucking the joy out of the community. I mean, this is one of the things I said at the beginning, right? Is like comparing him to a unit that doesn't stack. Obviously, he's going to be better in the Festival of Battles event. But comparing him, again, like the tweet we saw at the beginning, comparing him to Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, like think about a Formidable Foes boss or something who's hitting like 2 or 3 million on turn 1. And if that boss has a Ki Blast super attack, Gotenks is like invincible in slot 1, even on turn 1. So in that instance, we would obviously say that he is better than Bardock. So there are ways to compare these units, but obviously specific events are always going to play a certain part in that as well. And also the fact that just because one unit is better than the other doesn't necessarily mean like the other one is bad, right? I think the fact that Bardock has this much discussion around how good he is when he's a free-to-play unit is really good, because obviously a lot of the time we just get free-to-play units and they're all terrible, and there is no argument for like, are they better than some of these other summonable units and stuff like that, right? So at least he is that good, right? Mega Nice, I wish he wasn't a stacker, because now there's the stigma of, look, they're releasing stackers, that means Festival of Battles does matter. It doesn't. It doesn't, and Bardock unfortunately pushes this false agenda. He seems good though. I like his animations and kit. I mean, his animations and kit are really good. The whole argument of like, does Festival of Battles matter, is a whole other thing that could be a separate video. I mean, let me know if you guys would like to see that. I could make a post like this, as well as going over my thoughts, because you can weigh in quite a lot on what that even means. Like to say, does it matter? Because again, like we talk about this with every event. I'm not going to deep dive into it right now and derail this particular subject, but like, if the event, like there's no reason to beat the event past stage 25 realistically, and if they never add any missions or anything, there's no reason to ever do it again once you've done it for the first time. So it's difficult to like, what makes an event like matter, because everyone has different standards for that. Like for me, people will say like, oh, every red zone stage is one and done. But like when new units come out and you can build new teams, either with them or throw them on an existing team, jumping into a red zone stage to test out that team and how it works can be fun and doesn't take a long time. Whereas Festival of Battles, it's like if a new stacker comes out, it's almost certain that they're going to be good in that event. And if you want to try beating that event with them, that's another like 2.5 hour run that you are going to do. So yeah, to me, Festival of Battles doesn't matter, but let me know what you guys think if you want to see a video going into that in more detail. Probably the best free-to-play LR since the 6th anniversary, Roshi. I mean, yeah, that guy, when he came out, he was undisputedly the best free-to-play unit in the game. So it's good that we finally have another free-to-play unit that is in discussion for actually being that good, right? So that's something at least, right? Especially for us Bardock fans. Akioshin says, best free-to-play, probably yes, but top 10 overall, I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned those units that were shown in that screenshot for, like, Truth's last top 10. I don't know if I would say he's better than any of those guys across the board, right, outside of the festival event. He's definitely the best free-to-play unit, but I can't put him in the top 10 overall unless we're talking specifically Festival of Battles. Yes, exactly. He's top 10 in there, absolutely, but across the game, no, which is fair. Literally fantastic all around. I mean, he is very, very good. Is he just solid? No. Good option to run that can hold his own fairly well. No real complaints for a free-to-play non-EZA LR. Because, yeah, that's the thing. They made a great choice making him actually good without giving him an immediate EZA, because then he has the future ahead of him to get an EZA and be usable again at some point down the road, which is something that we would prefer that they do, right? They need to stop EZAing these free-to-play units straight away, but they need to make them good enough to be run without the EZA, right? And they seem to have succeeded with this Bardock for sure. He's very good, got way easier restriction with superclass and extra attack and damage reduction for transformation boost. He does well in all content from my time with him. The active is so crazy, 318%. Yeah, the defense buff that he gets on his active skill is actually insane, because it's 318% extra defense from the active skill effect. But because the active skill is also an attack, he also gets the 100% extra attack from his passive. And I believe the way that they trigger, someone can let me know if I'm wrong, is that he gets the 318% first and then gets the 100%. So, for example, if you've got 2 million defense, you get the 300 odd percent, which means it's going to go up to over 8 million, and then you get the 100%, so it goes to over 16 million. That's why his defense looks so crazy on turns where you use it. We saw someone was doing a festival run during my World Tournament stream yesterday, used the active skill all the way up against Vegito at the end of the festival event, and Bardock had 28 million defense, which is which allows him to tank literally the super from the tech Vegito that does 24 million damage, which is pretty funny. So yeah, his active skill turn is absolutely crazy. If you could use his active skill on turn 4, I think he would actually be even higher in contention. The argument would really be there for him being up that high on tier lists, because things like Festival of Battles and stuff like that usually are not Festival, the Formidable Foes is 4 turns. So if you could use it on turn 4, whereas some events you won't necessarily get to turn 5, but yeah, his active skill is crazy. He might be top 15 LR wise. I mean, yeah, potentially if he's not getting into the top 10, maybe you could see that. His animations are really good. Card art is great. Kit is decent for a free-to-play LR. Basically a very mid-yellow coin LR. Now please give us usable free-to-play TURs again. I mean, yeah, if he released as a yellow coin LR right now, what would people think of him? Because you have to actually summon for him. I think he probably would be maybe considered a little bit underwhelming, because I think he does get some extra props for being so good for a free-to-play card. If he was summonable, I think maybe he would be a bit disappointing, because if a summonable LR is coming out and they're not even a top 10 LR, that's obviously a little bit disappointing. So I think if he was a summonable, he would probably be tweaked a little bit more. So yeah, I guess saying that he would be a very mid yellow coin LR is probably about right, I guess. He's very good. After trying him out in different content, I think I like him as a top 10 LR. Bottom of the ladder, obviously, but definitely better than some other contenders. Good for Festival Battles, good for Red Zone, good for the Formidable Foe stages. I think the Formidable Foe stages will be the tough ones for him, because if they are only going to be a couple of turns, he doesn't get a lot of time to stack, and if the enemies aren't Transformation Boost or Wicked Bloodline, he's not going to be tanking a super from them in turn 3 or 4, right, in that second phase, but it definitely can still be useful there for sure. It's definitely a card that exists in the game, that's for sure. I mean, can't argue with that. I haven't tested him personally, so I can't comment, but from what I've heard, he's one of the best free-to-play LRs. I mean, yeah, in terms of free-to-play LRs, he's one of, if not the best, because his only real contender is Demon King Piccolo, right? I think he's really good in free-to-play standards. My inner Bardock fan is happy we got a good Bardock after the 2020 EZA incident. Yeah, Bardocks have not been great in terms of newer units coming out. The Tech one aged super fast. The AGL one, EZA, wasn't particularly great. So it's going to be a long year of people thinking Festival Battles doesn't matter, and in the end it matters. Bardock is awesome there and great in the red zone. Discussion for top 10 to 15 for sure. I mean, this is why I think making a thread and making a separate video about this subject could be interesting, because comments like this always intrigue me, because it's people think Festival of Battles don't matter, but in the end it does matter, but no explanation of why. So maybe a video about that could be interesting. Like I say, let me know what you guys think. I do think he's pretty mid because there's nothing that really warrants him being on the team. His only team is Pure Saiyans, and that team is so oversaturated with units. I've had him die constantly in red zone, so I'm generally very unimpressed by him. So, I mean, there you go. That's the first comment like this. And I mean, it's kind of like I said before, right? If you're running him on one of the best teams in the game, which is like the 10-year anniversary characters, he is only getting a double 170 lead from them. And in things like the red zone and formidable foes, there are options for those teams that probably are better than him, just specifically because of what they do. Like the formidable foes event, all the bosses can be attack lowered, so someone like STR Super Gogeo with his Super Easy A, you could probably argue is better than Bardock in those events, being able to attack lower the enemy straight away from turn 1, having really good defense post supering. So it's like, in red zones and formidable foes, there are a few different team builds where you could run Bardock, but arguably there are better options to run on the team instead of him. So I'm very much like hoping he gets a 220 team soon. But yeah, I think this is the first comment that I've seen. Generally very unimpressed by him. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. For most content like Red Zone, Supreme Battle Spectacle, Hardened Foes, etc., Bardock is decent. Can be really good if the fight is long. Can pile some damage numbers and eat some attacks. The new festival, yeah, obviously, completely different story. He's super good for that. Crazy good LR, man is tanking so well, I'm crying. Yeah, he can build up very well. And again, that active skill turn, even in short events, right? I've used him in a red zone stage on a 170 team and then gotten to like the final phase. I think I was doing the Future Saga. Is it the Vegeta story one where the final boss is Infusion Zamasu? And on the active skill turn, he had like 6 million defense, which, considering he's only been in play for like a few turns, is pretty good, right? I think at first he seemed shaky, but after some uses, he's a damn solid unit to use, especially on that active turn. We just need a 220 lead or a unit similar to Forku for the low-class warriors or Team Bardock setups for him to truly shine. Yeah, he just needs that better leader skill, I think, and then we can easily see him like building up quicker, and then he's going to be a lot more effective. Easily top 11 in the top 11 to 13 range. That's very specific. Have him at 11 above physical Gohan due to the support and tanking capabilities. I think again, this is what people underestimate physical Gohan, because I don't think people realize just how tanky he can be post super. Like even in the formidable foes event, I've had him eating supers for like double digit damage, and mine's 55%. So I don't know, maybe it's just lucky setups that I've seen in my personal experience, but I think people underrate how good defensively that physical Gohan can be. He'll only get better this year with Wicked Bloodline Worldwide, potentially, and then being a 50% support for Daima Goku. Yeah, because he supports Superclass and Time Travelers, and because the Daima, like Saiyans, are on Time Travelers for some reason, he's going to be giving them massive support. So if he ends up being, if we get like a Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and because of his leader skill choices, this guy ends up being on his 220 team. He could end up being like a must-run support unit on that team. So he's the best free-to-play. Fair enough. I think he's better than the AGL Bardock, like the summonable one. I think that's probably fair. I think for an LR you get for free with 0 grinding, he's an incredible LR. Do I think he's in the top 10? No, but considering how little effort is needed, he's good. I'd rate him as the #1 free-to-play LR with Demon King Piccolo as a close second, as he needs more teams, which is fair. That's the other thing to consider as well. It's not like he's a Prime Battle LR or a Prime Battle LR from back in the day when the grind really was horrendous. You literally just buy the copies of the card and the medals from the shop with the green gems that you get for free. So, like, you don't even have to farm him. You just buy the copies and buy the medals, and then there you go. You've got the LR, right? So that is definitely very, very good as well. I've yet to awaken him, heard good things. I definitely think if you don't have Namek Goku, really good replacement for him, yeah, for the Festival of Battles. I keep seeing a bunch of these memes. I think it's like supposed to just be the low quality version of the image. So like, Bardock is better than Bardock. Although this also could be just an extension of people saying Bardock is better than, and then insert random unit here. So just putting himself in there. It's kind of funny. I think it's cool and I like using him. Yeah. Honestly, don't see why he isn't at least top 12. Amazing unit in all the hard content. His restrictions are easy to work with. Ignore my name. Oh yeah, he's called Bardock Defender. He's very good. Probably best free-to-play unit so far. Not top 10 material yet, and has some heavy flaws, but can still be fun to use in today's content. I mean, that's the thing, right? Again, it comes back to he can actually be used in the difficult content, which for a free-to-play unit is already putting him above the bar from what we usually see, right? Looks more viable than AGL Demon King Piccolo, who people swear was Roshi tier on release. I think it's just because of the lacking of teams and stuff. I mean, Demonic Power is still a very, very good team, and he is very good on there, but obviously Superclass is all the rage because of all the anniversary buffs and stuff, understandably. I think if the next Dokkan Fest, like the 1st of April, Dokkan Fest is an extreme character, and potentially even a Demonic Power character, maybe people will see Demon King Piccolo in a slightly different light, especially if he's getting a 220 lead from that unit, but we'll see. He's a top 10 free-to-play LR, but if you think overall top 10, yeah, I mean, he's not, I mean, he's number 1 or 2 free-to-play LR, right? It's not just top 10, but stuck in World Tournament, haven't used him. I'm on the top 10 LR side, fair. I think he's a top 10 LR, I've been using him a lot, and he performs well in every single event. Yeah, there you go, the low-quality art. I think it's amazing a free-to-play unit will help people in festival battles. General, very well-designed, support stacks and guard. Yep. Well, guard is only for the 4 turns, which is something that could be increased with his Easy A, which is good for the future. For what he is as a free-to-play quest mode LR, he's excellent. Yeah, exactly. Hitting a nice attack stat here after a decent few stacks. So, yeah, a bit of a interesting response. Like, only really one person saying that they don't particularly like him, and then everybody else saying that he's either, like, you know, just outside the top 10 or just making it in. So definitely a crazy response. This guy, let me know what you guys think. How has this guy affected the community? A lot of people think he's amazing. Like I say, only one comment and the entire thread of someone saying that they find him disappointing. So yeah, I'm certainly happy as a Bardock fan that he is as good as he is, especially for a free-to-play unit. I get a lot of flack on in my comment section sometimes when showcasing or talking about new free-to-play units that come out, because my standards for them are too high, right? Because I want them to be usable in the content that's actually worth playing, which for a long-time player like me is only really the end game content. And a lot of people think that you know the bar should be a bit lower for free-to-play characters, but the fact that this guy is that good, I think, is definitely a massive W. So let me know your guys' thoughts on the AGL Bardock down below in the comment section. Who would you like to see release to be a 220 lead for him? Let me know your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.